Hey everyone, and welcome to the first video for our CIT 260 course this semester. My name is Brother Gilliland, but that's kind of weird to say and hard to say and long to type out and whatever. So I usually just go by Brother G, and you can type it out Bro G, I don't really care. This course can get difficult, so we're going to set some ground terminology and talk a little bit about Java in this video with regards to the first assignment and with regards to the instructions that you followed in the Introduction to Java reading. So this is the end result of the program you get from your Introduction to Java reading. You have an import statement. You don't get the package. Don't worry about the package. But you get the import statement. You're importing a class from somewhere else that somebody else has written. Those are going to be incredibly useful. And you won't have to type those in manually yourself pretty much ever again this semester. This is the IDE that we'll be using, NetBeans. I'm using it because I can make the font much bigger so that you can all actually see what I have typed. I don't want to mess with my Notepad++ settings, but it's effectively the same thing, just different syntax highlighting. So you make sure that your class name is the same name as your file, and that it is Pascal case, or camel case with that first letter also being uppercase. Class names must follow this convention in Java. Technically they don't actually have to, but for all intents and purposes, that is how it's done in Java, and if you disobey that, you won't get a compiler exception, but you will get a lot of warnings and everything yelling at you, including me. Okay, you create a final double. There are different variable types in Java. In JavaScript, when you create a variable, you just get to type something like var my name is, Daniel. Bro G. And we don't get that luxury in Java. Java's statically typed. Everything you must tell the compiler, this is my variable, it is a string. Right? This is my variable, it is an int. This is my variable, it is an object, right? And we'll talk about objects more next week. But that's how Java is. You have to explicitly declare what variable types your variables are. So you're creating a variable that's type double, and because it's a final, it's not ever going to get changed. Convention says that we do all uppercase with underscores between the words in our variable name. And again, our variable name is very descriptive. And then we assign it here, we initialize it. And it's private, which means only this class can use this variable. If I had another class in my project, I wouldn't be able to access this kilograms per pound variable. That's what that private modifier does. Static we'll get into much later, so I won't worry. I won't get into the details of that. Then we have our first function. Functions exist in Java just like they do in JavaScript, and they're used to help break things apart into smaller chunks and to break things apart into reusable chunks. For instance, if I wanted to, maybe I needed to convert pounds to kilograms a lot, right? I would create a function down here. I can make it private or public, but I'll make it private in this case. It'll return a double, and I'll call it get kilos from pounds. And I'll take a double pounds, and I will return the pounds times kilograms per pound. And then instead of doing this function, I could just call get kilos. Oh, you know what? This has to be static because it's being called from within a static function. And then if I needed to get kilos per pound somewhere else in my program, no matter where it is, I have a function to be able to do that. I don't have to write this logic. Obviously, this is a very simplified function, but that's the idea behind creating functions for your projects or for your assignments. And you can see there's functions used already throughout this entire program. System.out.println is a function. It's a static function on the system class. There's an out property which has a print line function. And then when we create a new scanner, the scanner class has this next line function, which reads the next line from the keyboard. It also has next double, it has next int, it has all sorts of functions to help you get your tasks done. If you had to write all the code that was in this next line function, you'd be very well, it's not that much code, I guess, but you can see even this uses with functions within it. So there's a lot of nested functions in there. We don't have to write that. I don't want to ever write that. And that's what a lot of the Java libraries do for us. Again, that's what the import's for. If we didn't have that import, we wouldn't be able to use that scanner class that somebody else wrote forever ago that has all those really useful functions. And the way you get out a function is if the function is static or within the class, you can just, if the function's within the same class, you can just call the function. If it's on another class, you have to use that variable name. That dot is so critical. It's how you access all functions on your object, and then you're going to call your function name. So let's walk through this function really quick, or this application really quickly. The main is where like our program enters. So what we're going to do is we're going to output nothing, right? That's going to give us a blank line, because that print line, if you look at the definition of it, I don't have hover over. Print line just is going to print a line with whatever you pass it in as the text that goes on that line. So if we don't pass anything in, just a blank line. Then we're going to print out, this program converts pounds to kilograms. Then we're going to print out, please enter a name. And then we create a new variable. The variable type is scanner. The variable name is infile. Then on the next line we assign it. We say infile gets a new scanner. This is a constructor. Anytime you see the new keyword, you're constructing a new object from a blueprint. So Java, we'll get into this again more next week when we talk about the model layer. Java is an object-oriented program. Everything we deal with, we're going to try and put into these objects, which are going to be our model, right? So I have a pair of headphones sitting on my desk. There are thousands of different headphones that are being manufactured today, and they all have different properties, but they're all headphones, right? If you gave someone a pair of headphones, they'd know that they were headphones. But this one might have a different volume level. It has a different cord length. Some of them are wireless, some of them are wired. It might be over the ear versus in ear versus on ear. There's all these different properties of headphones, but they're all headphones, and that would be a class. Headphone would be a class, and then all these different properties would be the different variables within the class. So cord length might be 6 foot for one and 3 foot for another, 10 foot or whatever. So I can create a new headphone from that blueprint and then assign the properties or change the properties or call functions like play music or anything on that specific pair of headphones that I just created from this constructor. So creating a new scanner. I'm assigning that to my infile variable, and now I've got this scanner here. My infile is now a scanner. It exists. Up here it was null, right? It was implicitly null. And null is a special keyword in Java that means nothing, right? It means something, and that something is nothing, right? There's nothing there in this variable. So I create a new scanner, I fill it in so it's not null anymore. And then I create another variable for name, and again it's a nice mnemonic variable. It means something. I go ahead and read the input off the keyboard and assign that to that variable. So then whatever I typed in is going to be assigned in, name is going to be holding that variable value. Then I prompt the user again, enter the weight in pounds, and then I grab that off of the keyboard. You notice this is next line and this is next to double. So this scanner class is super nice. It has different functions to be able to capture different data types. So it's going to read the next double I enter on the keyboard, and then it's going to call that other function I just made, get kilos from pounds, which is going to return pounds times that kilograms per pound final double value, and then assign that to another variable, and then I'm going to output. Mine doesn't have the formatting. I was kind of too lazy to enter it, but It's going to output the name and then the weight. So I'll go ahead and run that. And you can see it's prompting me for my name. And I can put in Brody. Then it's going to prompt me for my weight in pounds, for a weight in pounds, not my weight. And you can see that it converted it and it ran and everything's all fine and dandy. If I miss a semicolon or something like that and you run the Java C compiler, it will let you know on line 29 a semicolon is expected. When we get to our IDE, that lets you know right away by these little exclamation points. So we will get there. This is the only assignment you have to use command line, and you don't even have to use command line. If you want to get set up with the IDE or any IDE of your choice, just submit the Java file. That's all I care about. Again, your assignment is taking this and doing something different with it. Multiply two values together, convert miles or calculate miles per gallon, do some other calculation, but following the same kind of pattern. You're going to describe the program. Well, you don't even have to do that, to be honest. Prompt for an input, collect an input. Prompt for an input, collect an input. Do something with those inputs and give me a result. And that's all I really want for this first assignment. It's just to get Java set up on your computer, get you familiar with it. As we get through the weeks, I'll be posting more of these videos. I'll talk more about Java. We'll get hopefully more familiar with the terminology. And hopefully this is a good intro video. Sorry if it was kind of rushed, but I hope it helps some of you. And we'll definitely be talking a lot more. If you have any questions, the developer forum is the place to post them, and we'll get those questions answered. I will, or your classmates will. And good luck, and have a good week.